Hey everybody, welcome to another thrilling installment of Peace, Love, and Idol. It is my fourth episode of this wonderful blog, but we are going to be discussing Hollywood Week, and it's episode 3 of Hollywood Week. We are also going to be discussing the Vegas performance rounds. We got a lot to cover. I have a headache, and I've had it for 4 days, so I'm going to try to get right into this. Less crap. Having some other issues, and I just need to get this done and have it be enjoyable and not have to go back and fix it at all. So we're going to jump right into the meat and potatoes because we got a lot to do tonight, a lot to cover. I couldn't believe how many pages of notes I had since the last time I talked. I had to go back and look at the video because I forgot where we left off. But we left off right before the Betties were to perform in Hollywood. So I love that there were 2-hour episodes last week. Got a lot of ground covered. Looking very much forward to finding out who our top 24 is this week. So quick recap from last week, and they were off to the races again. Last time we met, the episode ended as soon as the first group, which was the Betties, were to perform. So it's performance, minimal feedback, and cuts right on the spot. So Betty's got underway, and it was Brianna Bell and company. It was actually Brianna Bell, Cherie Tucker, Jennifer Malch, and Carrie Kaiser, and they sang "Hit 'Em Up Style," which has never fared well for any Idol contestants. I don't know why they still even have it on there. It's a lot of words. It's a lot of work. I wouldn't be in a group that picked that song. That's just me. And also Gabrielle Cabaza. It was really terrible. Not a good way to start off the group round. But, they had their issues. People throwing up, wanting to go to sleep, what have you. Cherie was extra bad. Gabrielle, which was the one that was puking all day the night before, she had a cool tone, but left a lot to be desired. Jennifer and Kari ended up making it through. I honestly would have sent them all home. I didn't think they prepared enough. I didn't think they were good. So the rest of them all got the food. Moving on was a group called Groove Sauce, and that included Reed Grimm, Aaron Marcellus, Jen Hirsch, Creighton Fraker, and Nick Boddington. And they did an awesome job. They sang "Hold On, I'm Coming." I believe that's the song. I even liked Creighton this time around. I mean, it has happened. Hell has frozen over. He didn't sound so much helium-like. Reed sounded good singing an actual song and not doing Scat Improv Fest 2012. Aaron was excellent. I really, really like him. He's a little off-tempo in the beginning of the solo, but he regained it. I wasn't a huge Nick Boddington fan, but the group was so good that they all went ahead and made it. And I thought they deserved to. That's how groups are done. Next up was a group called 679, and they also did "Hit 'Em Up Style," and this was the group with Kyle Cruz, Brielle Von Hugel, Shannon McGrain, Joshua Leday, and Amber something or other. I didn't catch her last name. I did not know that Joshua Leday was in this group when they showed the footage the night before with Mom. Brielle's mom, still annoying. Joshua Leday, while we're talking about you, where have you been? Stellar. Looks like black Alfred E. Newman, but stellar. So good. Kyle Sucked is a terrible song for him. He should have left this group and went and sung something in a key that suited him, as well as a song that just didn't make him look ridiculous. He was terrible, and I was a big fan of his original audition. I wasn't a fan of Brielle at all. The judges seemed to like her. I thought she sounded nasal. She was being like a diva. She tried to take over the whole song. Shannon was okay. Not her best performance by any means. Didn't see anything that stood out to me. And they didn't show Amber, but out of all of them, Kyle was sent home, and the rest moved on to the next round. I mean, Kyle definitely sucked. He deserved to go. I wasn't a fan of Brielle. I might have sent her home. But I'm not a judge. Next up was the Make You Believers, winner of the stupidest fucking name in Idol group history, and it consisted of Amy Brumfeld, Jackie Sarah, Matheny Draco, and Dustin Cundiff, and we were introduced to their trials and tribulations of trying to find a group last time, and they sang More Than a Feeling. They tried to sing More Than a Feeling. Prior to the performance, Jackie fainted. I don't know why this is the year of like fainting. And she wasn't going to perform, but then she said she's going to anyway. She's got to, blah blah blah. They were the first group that succumbed to forgetting the words. Dustin and Amy forgot the words. Jackie was terrible. She should have just bowed out and left on a fainting note. At least she probably would have left on a way better note than that. Matheny was the only one who really like sang his part. I can't really attest to that he was good or not in the harmonies because they were so bad that I don't know what was going on. It was not cute. It was bad, and everybody got cut except for Matheny. So, peace out, tent girl. Sorry, you gotta go back to your tent. Stoner guy can go back to smoking. Becky can go back to thinking. All right. So after that, they showed clips of groups going and people being nervous and backstage bullshit. Then they showed a group with no name that forgot the words big time. They showed lots of people forgetting the words, making up words, ad-libbing. It was pretty funny actually. People making up like, I don't want to go home, like, do-da-beep-ba-ba. It was a pretty funny montage. Then they moved on to those girls and that guy, which is Terrible Cop Girl and her group. I didn't even catch all the names of this group. They went by them so fast because they were so bad. But it was Christian Lopez, was the guy that was sick. Who I actually liked his tone. Was it his best performance? No, but I liked his voice. I hadn't recalled hearing him before. I liked his voice. The cop, Alicia Bernhardt, Samantha Novacek, and then there were two other girls in the group, and they didn't really make a fuck because none of them made it. They were terrible, and good riddance to all of you. Next up was Area 451, which was Johnny Keezer's group. And he was like being the leader out in the hallway, with choreography and what have you. And in typical Hollywood 2012 fashion, Imani, girl in the red coat, passes out in the hallway while they're getting ready to go on. They get interviewed in dramatic fashion. Oh, I tried to catch her. Blah, blah, blah. So then she gets it together, hobbles in like an old grandma to the theater, and passes out again, getting out of the seats to go up. This is where me, if I was an Idol producer, an Idol key grip, an Idol assistant, I would have been like, this bitch needs not to go on stage. Liability USA. But they let her back, and she goes on stage looking like, can't even explain it. So, it was Johnny Keezer, it was Christy Krause, it was Bryce Garcia, and Imani Candy. It wasn't good. They couldn't even finish because Imani passed out again. Like, it was okay up until her, like, it really wasn't great. And then she was, like, singing, and you just saw, like, she started shaking. It was crazy. Bryce, I don't know where he was singing. That was terrible. So after all was said and done, and Johnny tried to sing while Imani was still passing out, they all got cut except for Johnny. So peace out. It was like a big thing for Imani. She was sitting on the chair saying, "Oh, please let me go into the solos. You won't be sorry." They're like, "No dice. Come back when you're feeling better." So next up after that was the Hollywood Five, which was David Leathers Jr., I believe, Evan Frankowitz, Ariel, Jeremy, and Gabby. I did a lot of just first names when they were going by fast. And I broke it down that they didn't show David enough for what I liked. Evan did an awesome job. Ariel was really, really good. Jeremy was good, and Gabby was good. They all made it through, and we're moving on. Next up was a couple of people who they just showed getting cut, and that was Reese Klockner, Simone Black, even after her fainting spells on day number 1, and WT, he was the guy who quit his job at the federal prison to be on American Idol, and he's having a baby in 5.5 seconds. Called his wife outside, she's like, okay, see ya. I've been like, you better find a job out there singing and doing some shit, or come back here and beg for your job back, we need health insurance, bitch. They got cut. Then next up was MIT, much controversial. Richie Law, still being a douche. They went in the confessional as a group, and then he has to stay, and really didn't say anything worthy of staying in there extra and making them worry. So Heejun opened up the group, and he did a good job. I'm not familiar with this song, Broken Strings. Feel free to please comment and tell me who sings the song and where I may have heard it. Sounded left a lot to be desired in the song, but however, Heejun did a good job. Jaeron had some pitch issues, but overall I thought it was probably his best performance for me. Ricky was terrible. He tried falsetto and it was terrible, crash and burn. And still they showed 2 seconds of him, but as usual he was good. And for some reason they put them all through. Like, as you'll hear through this video, how long Richie Law stays around. I mean, he's still around. I can't believe it. Well, I can. We'll get there. But anyway, I didn't think he should have survived this round, and that would be neither here nor there. Such is life, they all made it. Alright, and then they just quickly said that group round was over, and the following people had also made it through group round. Erica Van Pelt, Adam Brock, Hallie Day, Owens Tesman. And then Heejun admitted that he talked craps about Richie after their performance, which I thought was cool. He's like America's nicest idol. So moving on, I hope that was not too speedy for you. We'll move on to the solo round, which is the last round of Hollywood. And back in the day, before last year, this was your last round. They cut it down to whatever, and then called you in and let us know who the top 24 is. But last year, with the new judges, they added a whole fucking Vegas round. So this will not be the last round. So, solo round, 98 contestants remained out of the 185 contestants that made it to group round. So they did a decent amount of cutting. And it opened with footage of the dumbest jam session on the planet. Like, waste of my time. And obviously, people shouldn't have been trying to hit Mariah Carey octave notes because it ended up fucking them for their performance. So, we move right into solos, and they start off with Joshua Leday, who did an interesting version of Jar of Hearts by Christina Perri. It was very interesting. He did his thing. I love his tone, and it was really good. And I'm really surprised they haven't given him more camera time before now. I think he did a great job, and I think we're going to be seeing him in the top 24. Next up was one of my favorite frontrunners, Colton Dixon. I just love him. He looks like a star. He feels like a star. He doesn't always have the strongest performances, but the style of his voice and the tone of his voice is perfect for radio right now. I'm not saying that's like the greatest thing ever, but it is perfect for radio right now. And he is cuter than a button for my cougar loving. Boys that are 20 to 24 should just never be cute. It ruins my life and reminds me that I'm almost 32. But I loved him. He sang What About Now by Daughtry. Played his keyboard again. It's not my favorite Daughtry song, but he did it justice and I really liked it. Now remember, in this round we don't get any feedback, we just see them, and then at the end they're separated into the groups. So third up was Phil Phillips, and I don't know what the song that he sang, whether I didn't write it down. And he did well, but he's so stylized. Like, there's a difference between having just a style of your voice and then you're able to sing anything and just being so stylized that you need to sing original music for one specific genre of music. And I think he's going to have trouble in doing this. Because as we saw with Casey Abrams, who was very stylized, he had trouble translating songs to the style of theme week. He did his thing. It was almost, and this is coming from me, never thought I'd say this, it was almost too raspy and too gritty and too dirty for me at times. I feel like there's a time and a place for it, and he overdid it that time. But I still like him a lot. Definitely. Next up was Jen Hirsch, and she sang Georgia on My Mind, which I guess is always on the list for solo round. And it was super accurate, super crisp, so good. I don't know why they didn't give her more camera time before Hollywood, but bitch is banging. She had a terrible outfit on, and it made her look way heavier than she is. But she killed it, and I am guaranteeing that she will be in top 20. Next up was my on-again, off-again friend, Creighton Breaker. And he sang What a Wonderful World, and I liked his lower register. We found out that he has a lower register. It didn't sound like helium, and he made very good choices. He's obviously very knowledgeable when it comes to arranging, and it was powerful and awesome, and I really liked it. And he will probably make top 24 as well, as much as I don't want to admit that. Then they showed a bunch of people messing up due to a massive thunderstorm that was happening in the background, and it was pretty funny. But then if you took note as to like who was in that group of people messing up, it didn't really affect all of them because some of them made it through too much time, but it was pretty funny that the thunder was crashing. Then the next solo was Reed, and I'm not so sure how I felt about this. I don't know if this was like, are you down to be part of a really interesting video piece for TV? Or if this was real. Because if this isn't real, he should have been much angrier than he did. That's for A. So he was gonna sing a cappella. So he didn't practice. They showed a montage of him like being all happy the day before, not practicing with the band and eating off the craft services table and just having a grand old time. Then 30 minutes before he's supposed to perform, Ryan pulls him aside and says that the producers just got wind of this. I think they would have asked why he wasn't practicing, and said there is no acapella singing in this round of the competition. So now you have to go figure out an arrangement of the band. Here's where I didn't think I could feel more uncomfortable about his mental status than I did last week. Bitch is bipolar. Oh my god. It was so uncomfortable. I don't know if it's just being a mental health professional or what, but I wanted to medicate him immediately and see if he cleared up, because he was all over the map trying to get this song together with the vocal coaches. It was literally, I wanted to cry for him. He was saying random things and wanting to call his mom, and yeah, okay. Oh, so disturbing. So anyway, then, okay, so you don't know what he throws together. Throws together a song, and they're like, okay, hold on, we're going to get back to him in a minute. In the meanwhile, here's what's going on in the auditorium. And they show us Shannon McGreen solo, and I think she sang What a Wonderful World as well, if I'm correct. And I hated the beginning. Just something about it. I don't know if it was the way she was singing with the band or the arrangement. Something that was off for me. But it definitely got back on track as it went on. Better singers than her, though. Like, I know she's pretty and her voice sounds like she's older than 16 and whatever, but she just doesn't hit my wow factor, I guess. I mean, maybe other people are gonna think she's cat's meow, but she just doesn't do it for me. But P.S. Like, who owns satin shorts? If you work in a store that sells satin shorts, like, hit me up. I don't want to wear them. I don't wear shorts, and then you wear them with stockings, like it's 1990, and I don't understand. I've never seen them before. I don't want to see them ever again. I'm on the fence with her. And that's that. So then they flash back to Reed, and he is like serious mania and rapid cycling, and he wants to play the drums now. Even the music director at this point is like, I am nervous for this to be on television. The drum kit was sick though. It was like so big. I don't know if anyone's ever seen the show Freaks and Geeks, but it looked like the drum set that Jason Segel built in the basement. It was like crazy. Like, I've never seen a drum set like that in my life. But of course, in true Idol fashion, he gets behind those drums and does Georgia on My Mind and fucking rips it a new one after all of that. So I like, either he's truly amazing or I find it hard to believe that this was not made for television viewing. It was mellow, it was chill, he killed it on the drums. It sounded like he'd been playing with the fucking Idol band for 10 years. Loved it. He was weird, he's a mess and he needs meds. Like, he's gonna be a mess if he makes top 12. Like, mess. He's gonna say weird shit and just be weird. But, musically, pretty excellent. So then we move on to Skylar Lane, and it was pretty rough for me until she got to the chorus. I love her voice. She got, like, country voice of all time. She reminds me of Miranda Lambert, who I love. But the beginning was very, very, very rough for me. She's a firecracker. She busts out there. She's got great range. And I think it was just a rough performance for her, but she ended up pulling it together. Like, it was acceptable. Steven thought it was the best performance of the day, and I think if he watches it back on TV, he will notice that probably was not the case. But it was good, and I look forward to seeing what she has to do in the future. Next up was Rochelle Lamb, who probably should have chilled out with the jam session with Steven Tyler because it definitely took its toll on her voice, and she wasn't great. She sang a great song, The House That Built Me by Miranda Lambert, and she messed up once and stopped, and they let her start again and got back on track. Skylar was better if we're comparing country singers, and I just don't think she lost her fire that she had in the beginning. And then last solo performance that we get to see is Adam Brock, and I've come to the conclusion that he, as a person, irritates the living shit out of me. I don't enjoy any clip of him talking. He just seems like he's I don't want to say douche, because like, he's difficult to get along with. I'm just gonna put it there. He's very irritating. He tries, like, way too hard. But his voice is where it's at, I guess. I liked the ending. The last Georgia was great. He does his thing. I mean, for the style that he sings in, he does his thing. I think he kicks his solo ass. So then they separated them into 4 groups and didn't tell you how many of the groups were going through or what have you. But it's clear to anyone who watches Idol on a regular basis that if you look at who's in the groups, you can tell who's going to go. You're going to want to be sitting in a room with Reed Grimm. You're going to want to be sitting in a room with Jen Hirsch. You know what I mean? So my prediction prior to them showing which group are going in, so that rooms 1, 2, and 4 were going to Vegas, and that room number 3 was going home. And because I am wonderful like that, that in fact was correct. Um, and again, I just figured that out by who they showed, who did good and who really didn't. So, rooms 1, 2, and 4 going to Vegas. Woo! So we're gonna move right along because I'm already at 25 minutes. So next up was Vegas Performance Round, which I did really enjoy. Another 2-hour episode, and of the 98 contestants that made it to solo round, 70 contestants were on their way to Vegas. The theme was music from the 50s and 60s. Originally, when J-Lo told them the theme, it was just the 50s, and then when they actually got to Vegas and Ryan was doing the voiceover, it was music of the 50s and 60s. They opened with footage of their travels and other going to Vegas shenanigans. The rules were as follows. You need to perform your own group of 3 or 4, and then you were assigned a song from the 50s and 60s. They showed us real quickly that Skylar had trouble finding a group, and then they stick her with one, and it skips to 9 a.m. on performance day. But she got stuck with a pretty good group, and they were up first, and it was Skylar Lane, Colton Dixon, Chase Likens, and Carrie Holder, or however you say her name. And they did Dedicated to the One I Love. I basically broke it down by each person's individual performance, and then how I felt the whole group did. The group had excellent harmonies. They sounded awesome. Overall, this Vegas Performance Round was really, really good. I was really impressed. There was only maybe like one group they showed on TV, and then I watched all the groups on Americano.com, which I recommend if you'd like to see maybe why some of your favorites didn't make it through. To check that out. It was anyway the first thing on the page when you logged in, but you can always look through all the videos. So just look for Vegas Week 2012, and you can watch all 16 groups I believe there were. So just going real quick through each of their performances. Carrie is annoying. Something about her tone annoys me. Her personality annoys me. Not a fan. Was actually surprised she made it this far. Chase did well, but his voice doesn't thrill me. Like, he's good, but it doesn't like do that thing that someone who you really like and will pay to go see does too. Colton, love him. It's his year. Glad he came back, or even if he didn't want to. And Skylar did really good. She redeemed herself from the little bumps in the road on her solo. And as a whole, they did great. And again, you get the results right after your group. And the final decision was that Kari was to go home, and the other 3 made it. And I was happy with that. Next group was Jeremy, Gabby, David, and Ariel, and they did Rockin' Robin. David was born to sing 50s and 60s music. I mean, he is the reincarnation of Michael Jackson when he was little. I hope that he doesn't turn out to be crazy, but whoa, A+. I mean, he could record this, and you wouldn't know whether it was put out in 1961 or yesterday. So good. Jeremy Rosado did his thing. His voice is sweet, more than stunning to me. Not like someone that I would get crazy over, like purchasing their music or going to see or anything, but sweet. He does his thing. It's good. Ariel, not someone that we saw a lot or that I paid attention to a lot, but I really liked her voice. Powerful with an awesome tone. And Gabby, I loved the end for her, but her whole performance as a whole could have been stronger. They did awesome as a group, and they were all through to the next round. Very good. Good job. I felt like it's hard to judge because we don't see the whole performance, and we don't see everybody's solos, and we don't see the other groups. So it's really hard to judge like the judges do when you're watching on TV. So if something I say like doesn't make sense later on when someone's awesome, then I apologize. The next group was Adam, Erica, Shelby Tweeten, who I had no idea was even still around, and Angie Zeiderman, and they did Great Balls of Fire. Adam was the same as always, good, but I feel he forces it too much sometimes. Erica, I love her. So good. one of my girl frontrunners at this point. Shelby did nothing for me. It was forgettable. Nothing unique about it at all. I wasn't taking notes. I would have forgotten she was in the group. Angie was very toxic-y Broadway. Exactly what Randy said he didn't want to see. Wasn't a huge fan. And basically could tell that she probably was going to get the group. So, the results were that everyone made it through except Angie. I would have sent Shelby home myself, but I guess they saw something that they liked. But I don't think. Oh wait, I totally just lied. If I knew how to edit, I would edit this. Angie was a cliffhanger. They ended up sending them all to the next round, and then I would have sent Shelby and Angie home, as my notes said. But I don't think either of them will make it through the next round to the top 2. Sorry, reporting false information. Next group was Skylar Dixon, Molly, and Brielle. And they did Why Do Fools Fall in Love, and they had like Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy from Company B outfits on, so I was a little confused. It was cute that they dressed like that, but they shouldn't have Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy on. So Skylar was weak. She had breath issues. You can definitely tell that she is not as experienced as the rest of the singers in the competition. She did well for her on her part, but her lack of experience was definitely showing. Brielle, I liked her better this time, but her personality is super irritating, and you can tell she's very domineering. She tries to take over every group situation she's in. She would not be good in a group situation, like being in a girl group. So she needs to be a solo artist or nothing. I couldn't really tell how Molly did individually. They didn't show enough of her performance for me, but they all continued on. No, I'm a liar. Oh my god, I need to read these better. Skylar and Brielle continued on, and Molly kept them out. Then they showed a montage of more contestants getting cut. First of which was Wayne Wilson, and I thought from his performance he was really good, and when I watched it back on AmericanIdol.com, I still thought he did well. Ashley Robles, Stephanie Renee, Aubrey Deckmeyer, Janelle Arthur, and Tina Torres were all also people who got sent home this round. The next group up was Reed, Evan, Haley, and Elise. I didn't write down what song it was because I'm an idiot. But they made a new groove to the song. I can't remember what it was. I see them in my I don't know. But I didn't like it. It felt hotel loungy to me. Reed has to scat like every time. He can't just fucking sing. He has to. Like, we get it. You like to scat. Like, is the soul of Ella Fitzgerald like lodged in your fucking gut somewhere? Just sing a goddamn song, buddy. Take your lithium, sing the song. Elise's hair sucked, I wrote. I don't know, I think it was like an aside ponytail or something. But love her. She's another one of my female frontrunners. Haley, I was not a fan of her vibrato or her lower register. And Evan surprises me every time. He had some pitch issues with this one. And again, which I think I mentioned way back in his very first audition, he's 15. In 5 years, he would fucking knock this competition on their ass. He's something here now. So we'll see. But I think all those things would be resolved and he would just be clean and crisp and great. But Haley did do an awesome riff at the end, which I really liked. And in the end, all of them were safe. Surprise of the night coming up right here for me. They show this whole montage about how Richie Law and Jermaine Jones, who I didn't even realize was still keeping strong for Pine Hill NJ, couldn't find a group because MIT did not want the cowboy anymore. And they got stuck together. And they were were showing the footage and how it really wasn't going well. And they both have low voices, and it just like spelled disaster from the beginning. Then you have to think if they're showing that like you think it's gonna be bad, it'll probably be good. Well, despite Richie's voice being one of the most annoying sounds I've ever heard in the world of sounds, it's nasal and throaty and terrible. For some reason, when he sings with Jermaine harmonies, it was so good. It was so good. Oh, I couldn't even believe it. I watched it back like 3 times because I thought like maybe I was on crack and I didn't know. So good. I mean, Richie's solos I could have done without, but even they weren't even as terrible as like I thought they were gonna be, or as terrible as he had been. I don't know. They sounded good together. I was like dazzled by them. It was tremendous. I can't even believe I'm saying it, but they both went through. I don't know. I was just flabbergasted that I liked it. So that's why I said before that I can believe that Richie's through based on that. Ah, so good. So then they showed real quick just a couple of girls that went through that were good, being Hallie Day, Bailey Brown, and Chelsea Sorelli. I didn't like the footage that they showed of Bailey Brown's audition. I thought it was weak. I went back and watched the group, and her solos were not her best. She needs to step it up if she wants to keep it together. Chelsea's very nasal for me, and Hallie I've been liking more and more every time. So they're all through. The last group of the day, like, just shut this fucking video off right now because, again, I watched this 50 times, posted it to my Facebook page because I will buy this single right now. It was Jessica Sanchez, I think that's her name. Yes. And sidebar, she was on the first season of America's Got Talent. She was little against Bianca Ryan. She was good. I watched some of the footage, but she definitely needed work. And boy, oh boy, she's only like 16. Her hair was terrible. She had like a half ponytail, like here, like I used to have when I was 12. But that's neither here nor there. It was Jessica Sanchez, Candace, I don't remember, and my boy DeAndre Rakinsick. So good. OMG. Killed it. They killed it. I threw my pen twice. Oh, they should just be a group and leave the competition and go. I will watch them every day. So clearly they all made it through. Then they get some news that there are still 10 more groups to go tomorrow, and that some of you who made it through today may not be safe based on how many of these groups are good. Oh, sidebar. Saw a commercial that the 500th episode of The Simpsons was just on. Show's been on Saturday, 3rd grade. So second day of performances open with a group consisting of Clayton, Adam Lee, Curtis Gray, and Scott Dangerfield, which, alert, was one of my very, very favorite auditions from the first auditions of last year. Thanks for even telling me, American Idol, that he was back in action until, like, Vegas. Were they mad at him for, like, sorry, I had to move, not participating last year? The buzz in Idol land was that he did make it through to Hollywood, as we saw last year, but that he's a teacher, and that the contract and the Hollywood round and things he couldn't get it together, so he had to quit the competition. But he's back, and they did like this biker themed performance. They all sounded very similar to me. Like all of their voices could have been the same person. No one's solo stood out as particularly awesome. As a group, it was good. It was definitely weak. It was like the one that I was thinking of that was probably the weakest that they showed on TV. Um, I don't know that any of them are going to stand out alone. But the results were that Scott, Clayton, Adam are staying, and Curtis is going home. We'll see. They're going to really need to step it up in their solos to make top 24. I would predict that none of them will, based on this. So next up was Caleb Johnson, Joshua Sanders, Rivers Saint something, and Sasha something. And they all made it through. And then we saw Curtis Finch Jr., Joshua Leday, Shannon McGrain, and Amber, who still I don't know her last name. And they sent Curtis and Amber home, and I was not happy with that. I watched the full performance of that group online, and I thought they did a great job. So next up was Courtney Williams, Brittany Kellogg, and Jessica Phillips. And they don't write down what songs they sang. They had sparkly dresses on. I forget what song they sang. I love Jessica, but there's one thing that she does that really irritates me, and that is she goes like in between like everything she says. Like there's a time and a place in a certain song for what that would be cute. Not every time you sing. Really irritating. She did hit a nice run at the end of her solos. Her runs are always really like cool and understated for me. I like them. Brittany sounded flat to me. I wasn't a fan of her voice. And Courtney messed up her runs and she sounded off key. I think the judges were hard on Jessica for some reason. And when they watch it back, they're going to be mad at themselves. I definitely would have sent Courtney home. I thought she was the weakest, definitely. But instead, they sent Courtney and Brittany on and Jessica home. And unfortunately, Jessica went from being really cool and genuine, I really liked her, to really leaving on a sour note. And she was very sour grapes about it. And she really shouldn't have done that on the camera, because if she ever does come back, it's going to make it very hard for people to be in her corner again. I know she's stressed out and she wants to do good for her band and everything, but it wasn't a good way to leave. Even though it was bullshit and I didn't agree with it, she kind of dug herself a hole there. Next up was Lauren Gray, Wendy, and Nathaniel. And they showed some footage of the vocal teacher from hell yelling at them. I love Lauren. I wish my voice sounded like that. It sounds just effortless and unique and awesome. I love her. Wendy was flawless in her upper register, so crisp, and she looks really familiar to me. I don't know if she's tried out before, but. And Matheny had nice high parts. He held down the background, and the breakdown was hot. The little breakdown was hot. And they're on crack because they send Matheny home, and the girls make it through. Was not happy. Next up was Phil, Heijun, Nico, and J-Ron. And they sang I Only Have Eyes for You. As a whole, this was another weak group. As a whole group for me, I wasn't a big fan. Phil looked possessed by the devil. Like, I can't even explain what his face looked like. It was scary. But he did good, but again, it was in his style to me. It didn't like fit with the vibe of the 50s and 60s. Heijun was crazy accurate, smooth, loved it. Nico was a bit weak on his solo for me, and I didn't feel he was good in the bridge either. I think he lost his fire. And J-Ron surprised me actually and did quite a good job in the group. So they are all through to the next round. I would have sent Nico home. I thought he was really weak. The last group of the day was Aaron Marcellus, Jen Hirsch, Creighton Fricker, and Nick Boddington, which was group sauce from the day before without Reed. And they, I forget what the name of the song was, but it was just Sealed with a Kiss. and they just took a totally different spin on it. They did like a more of like a sing it all together, all one voice. I don't know. It was really good. Oh, it was so good. Aaron, so good. Jen, so good. Creighton did his thing. I heard a little bit more of the tone that I hate in this song, but overall, Vegas, he really did turn my opinion around. Nick didn't wow me. He did have some good harmonies, and his last solo was good, but as a whole, again, I still didn't like his voice. I wasn't a fan last time. So needless to say, Nick got cut, and Jen, Aaron, and Creighton are on to the next round. So then with like 6 minutes left in the show, they get down to the drama. They bring all the groups out onto the stage, call them up by groups, and are going to be sending people home. But they got to get as close to 40 as possible. They ended up with 42. And it went a little something like this. Jeremy Rosado's group, Gabby got cut. And that was probably because of her attitude. I don't know if it was like able to be seen on stage, but that would be my guess. Because the producers do have a say in this. It is not just the judges. So they do get to see all that background bullshit. Skylar Lane and company, all through. So that also included Colton and Chase. And Skylar Dixon and Brielle, Skylar got cut, and they showed Colton being all pissed off about it. Like, she's 16, she'll be alright. She'll come back in a couple years, and be just fine. Eben, Reed, Haley, and Elise, all through. No surprises there. Bunch of yeses montage to Holly Kavanaugh, another person from last year. Wendy, Lauren, and Haley. Aaron and Jen. And there might have been some more in there, but they all made it through. And the other casualties of this drama round were Angie Zeiderman, Candace Glover, Johnny Keezer, as I was saying with the spoiler list, and I guess it is true, J-Ron Jackson, and Brittany Kellogg, another person who was not very excited that she got cut. I did watch Johnny Keezer's group, and he was pretty terrible. Not good. And I guess they just didn't think he was consistent. All in all, 27 people were sent home from Vegas, leaving us with 42 going into next week, which is the solo Sing for Your Life, basically, round. You can play an instrument, or you can have accompaniment. You guys have a good song, and they sit you down in a chair, and they tell you what it is. I'm excited about it. I'm already almost up to an hour on the fan video, so I'm going to get it out of here. Solo round starts tomorrow, Wednesday, and I'm excited. And we're going to see how close the top 24 is to the spoiler list, or if it's right on, if there's some surprises. I don't know, tell me what you think. I'm getting viewers, but let me tell you, the voice viewers are kicking your guys' butt in the video department. Let me know what you think. Please leave comments. Please subscribe to my videos. I definitely appreciate you watching, and I can't wait to get into top 24 next week. Have a good night. Peace.